Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a little dive into r/am I overreacting. So if you would like to sit back, relax, and decide whether people are big drama queens with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. First post of the day, posted by Throwaway in 1985. Am I overreacting for calling a divorce attorney after my husband lied about who he was with? I, F37, just need non-biased opinions. My husband, M37, asked me 2 weeks ago if he could go camping this weekend with a friend and his brother. He asked via text, so I am assured I'm not remembering incorrectly. I said I don't know because our daughter, 5, had a cheer competition and I'd prefer not to drag our son, 6, along for that day. He offered to arrange for a sitter, but I still wasn't happy because the competition was early and close to our house. Getting her up and ready is already a pain. To add in driving our son to a sitter's is just making the morning so much more stressful. We find out she's a later performance, so he decides to go. He says he's going with his brother as the friend can't go. Wednesday night before he left, he specifically said he was nervous with the Verizon outages because he and his brother both have Verizon and they're hoping they don't lose access to GPS. Thursday morning, he texts me he made it to the campsite safely. I don't hear from him again. Friday at noon, I reach out to make sure he's alive. He usually texts me life checks daily when camping. Anyway, Opie then says, I get no response. By 6 p.m, I am nervous and text my sister-in-law to see if brother-in-law was able to contact her. That's when she replies, Ma'am, what are you talking about? My husband is on the couch next to me. I saw red. In my mind, my husband is still camping, but used his brother as a manipulative tool because he assumes that I won't want to ruin his good time. For mild background, we clearly have young kids who need a lot of attention. I work full-time and manage basically everything for the kids. He works a swing shift, so he's gone 14 hours a day on days he's working. What's a swing shift? I've never heard that terminology before. I'm constantly juggling everything alone, so it does suck when he finally has time off and actively chooses to spend it so detached, not being helpful in any way. Saturday, he finally texts that he has service again and is coming home. I ignored his texts. He called, but I was driving with our daughter in the car, so a call wasn't appropriate. When I could, I texted him calling him out on his lie. He doubled down and said he didn't lie. It was a change in plan because by the time he knew our daughter's start time was late enough that he could go, it was too late to invite his brother. It's now Monday. He's been living out of our basement or at work, so he has not tried to talk to me at all, and instead is taking the stand that he's mad at me for being mad. Ah, yes. The classic Uno reverse of I've done something wrong, but I'm going to act like you've done something wrong, so you then come apologize to me for nothing. In my opinion, he lied to me. He manipulated me. Instead of apologizing when he was caught, doubled down and is using my anger against me. The fact is, I no longer can trust him and contacted an attorney. So, am I overreacting? Honestly, I think at that point, no. Not really, because if he's willing to lie, and I'm not being funny, but if the brother was like, oh yeah, I was meant to be there, but there's been like a last minute change of plan, they would have said that on the phone. So he's obviously lied. Even if it is just that he was going with his pals and just drinking in the forest for a few days, it's still a lie and it still shows a willingness to be untrustworthy, which is something I think once trust is broken, it's so difficult to get back. And by the sounds of it anyway, the OP's been pretty fed up with him perhaps for a while, because the fact that even when he has days off, he doesn't really spend it with the family. Quite often they hinted towards the fact that he, makes himself scarce in some way or another. So maybe it is time to just call it quits, maybe even just speaking with an attorney to see if that's where the direction that the OP wants to take it in could be helpful. They might decide, actually, no, I don't want to divorce. But yeah, it could be helpful to at least look into it first, I suppose. So down in the comments, Margot Soda says he built in the Verizon comment so he could turn his phone off. Yep, he was not alone, sorry. And then OK Nothing 9733 said, yeah, the Verizon thing up front was so sus, it's insane. Next post, posted by a deleted user. Am I overreacting? Dentist receptionist entered my full name and ID number into ChatGPT. Oh my life, when will this bubble burst? Quickly, please. Chop chop. I'm honestly pretty upset about something that happened at my dentist office today. I needed a work excuse note after my appointment. The receptionist couldn't find the word template they usually use on the computer. Fine, but instead of just writing the note herself like a normal person would, she opened ChatGPT and asked it to generate one. And here's the part that really crossed the line for me. She typed in my full real name and my actual ID number into ChatGPT to create the document. I was standing right there watching this happen. No one asked for my consent. No one explained anything. She just casually entered my personal information into an AI tool like it was nothing. How is this okay? Since when is it normal for medical offices to input sensitive personal data into random AI platforms because they can't find a template? This is a dental clinic. They handle private information all the time. Data protection should be basic common sense. I left feeling really uncomfortable and honestly worried about how they handle patient information in general. If this is how casually they treat sensitive data, what else are they doing? Has anyone else experienced something like this? Am I overreacting, or is this as concerning as it feels? Update, guys, my boss just texted me, politely, asking if I wrote the excuse note myself using ChatGPT. Apparently the receptionist even left this at the last paragraph of the excuse note. If you'd like me to include the departure time or recommended rest period, I can add it. I didn't even notice it. I was so exhausted after the wisdom teeth extractions. I told him what happened and to call the dental clinic tomorrow in case he doesn't believe me. Laughing my fucking ass off, this crazy situation is costing me my job and my sanity, and here I am with a package of frozen peas on my left cheek. Update number 2. So, a day has passed and I'm not as angry as I was yesterday. My boss believed the explanation I gave him. I went back to work with a numb, bleeding mouth and the paper, even if it was generated with ChatGPT. It had the dentist's official seal, his license number, and the secretary's signature. My boss had no reason to think I made it myself, but in his own words, he never imagined a dentist using AI to generate an excuse note. I've noticed a lot of people have mentioned the possibility of her using an org account and a HIPAA-compliant version of ChatGPT. I think that's not the case. I remember it more clearly now. I asked to be sedated during the extraction because I have a phobia of anything related to dentists and extractions, so I think that made everything feel blurry at the time. The screen clearly showed what looked like a free ChatGPT account, with the pop-up above the chat box saying a less capable model was being used and asking to upgrade to Go. So, unless org accounts show these messages, I'm afraid it was not corporate HIPAA compliant version. I've been thinking about this all day, about whether I should take action or not. One of the reasons I didn't want to is because I don't want to be seen as problematic patient who complains about stupid things, which is partly why I made this post. Now I know I'm not the only one who would be upset about it. No, I'd be fuming if I went into my doctor's or my dentist and they put any of my personal medical, identifiable information, any of it, anything. In fact, I don't want AI being involved in my medical appointments at all, to be quite honest. I was actually reading something the other day and it was going on about, how it's something that the NHS is considering including in practices and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And they shared a questionnaire asking, and one of the questions was, would you feel comfortable with the risk of the AI giving the wrong information, leading to a misdiagnosis or medical malpractice or something like it was worded some way like that. And I was like, that is fucking wild. Because yeah, AI gets stuff wrong all the frigging time. Like all the time. They are not something I believe should be involved in health organizations at all. Not in that way. Not when it's coming to diagnosing, not when it's coming to helping patients, not when it's coming to sorting patients' private information. I just think it shouldn't be. Anyway, we're on a tangent there. Can you tell it's something I have a lot of thoughts about? The problem is that I'm really worried about the consequences of whatever I decide to do. I don't want the receptionist to lose her job. You might be thinking, but she didn't think about the consequences of her actions either. That may be true. The difference is she probably did it without fully realising the implications, and I'm very aware of what could happen if I speak up. I'm sorry, but if someone's that incompetent that they're working in the medical field in any capacity and are unaware of the implications of how they handle sensitive patient data, then they deserve to be written up. Like, what the fuck? And if this implies breaking a law, it's making me even more anxious because I don't want to escalate to a governmental body and get the entire dental office into trouble. All I want to know is whether my personal information could end up in someone else's hands. Correct it if possible and make sure the responsible person doesn't do it again. I don't want anyone to pay fines or get fired, But because I know that's not entirely in my control, I feel frozen not knowing what to do. Yesterday I was extremely mad and today I'm on the opposite side. Anxious and worried about the consequences of my actions. Maybe I need to ask again if I'm overreacting because anxiety is hitting for real. I don't think the OP's overreacting at all, but if they really don't want to take it too high and too far, I would say talk to the practice manager and just say, look, can I talk to you in private, pull them to the side and just say, this happened, I want to make you aware, and I would like to see that you're going to make sure it doesn't happen again. I don't want the receptionist to get into a lot of trouble because I do think it was a genuine mistake and oversight, but I just want you guys to make sure it doesn't happen again, because like the OP says, they're not going to want like some governmental body start investigating the entire practice, so I'm pretty sure they'll sort it pretty swiftly and quickly if they are decent. Anyway, down in the comments, Chris in Bliss says not overreacting. That's also just so incredibly lazy by her. And then Appropriate Energy says, right, not only was this a misuse of personal information, but how hard is it to type, OP was seen at our office on such and such a day and time. Exactly. OP then says, this is probably the worst part. This wasn't done on their part to generate a complex task. It was literally a few paragraphs anyone could have written by themselves. So Maka Subaki says, even then, even if it was truly an incredibly complex template to generate, it's so easy to use placeholders like Jane Doe in the request and manually enter the sensitive info once you've taken the template out of the AI ecosystem. Next post posted by Bunny Zafia. Am I overreacting for being offended by this? I was talking to a guy from school. We were planning to go out for ice cream together this weekend to get to know each other and see where things would go. I definitely could have handled that better if it wasn't at work when he texted that. This conversation happened when I took my 10, does that mean like 10-minute break? I got left on red and also don't think there's anything else to talk about. Am I overreacting for being offended by his comments about weight? So the OP's in blue and the mystery man is in grey. I'm fine with either one. I think I prefer the fruit flavours like sorbets though. I gotta ask a question real quick. What's up? So, you're 5'6", right? How much do you weigh? Wow, okay. 104 to 109 depending on the day. Time is— Oh, I was thinking something under 100. So, that's underway. I don't know if you know. Your weight is fine for now. Do you think you'll get over 110 anytime soon? It's definitely a deal breaker for me. Yeah, and that's where I'd go, right, it was really nice talking to you. Forget the ice cream. Bye. What the fuck? First of all, you don't just say that to someone. That's an inside thought and honestly a terrible perception of how much you think girls should weigh. I don't want a girl bigger than me. That's not a good look in general. And if you can't match that, then this is not going to work. Yeah, you're right. I can't match that. It's a horrible expectation for you to have for people. Go deal with your own insecurities before projecting them onto others. You tell him. How icky, just being like, hey, if you gain 10 pounds, that's going to be a problem for me. Oh, grow up. Last post for the day, posted by Boston Maid. Am I overreacting for being upset that my girlfriend secretly used my credit card for months? Oh dear. I, mid-20s have been dating my girlfriend for just under 2 years. I currently made a very decent amount of money and she knows this. I'm also very on top of my finances and credit and stuff. She maybe not so much. I typically pay my credit card down to zero regardless of the balance every month. In December, I was travelling and doing some budgeting, so I just happened to check my statement. I noticed just a handful of charges that I didn't recognise, some shopping online, random stores and shit, and even some cash advance transactions which I get charged a fee for. Not a big deal in and of itself, but I'd figured my card had just been compromised, reported the charges, got a new card, and proceeded carefully with my card info going forward. I did not accuse anyone and just chalked it up to bad luck. Fast forward a few months, my friends and I planned this trip to Mexico for about 2 weeks here at the end of January, beginning of February. Before travelling here, I told my credit card company I would be out of the country, so there was no problems with purchasing things here, etc. They called me back and told me that they had flagged some charges and wanted to know if I was back from my vacation. I am not yet back. I started putting two and two together and came to the realization that it could only be my girlfriend, and I'm really crushed right now by this. I confronted her and these are the messages. I feel like I'm being gaslit about this. I really just don't want to see her because I'm so angry and don't want her to be at my house when I get back. But I understand that she lives there and I can't just kick her out. Am I overreacting? Okay, let's have a look at the text thread then, shall we? OP's in blue and the girlfriend is in grey. Good morning, babe. When you wake up, I need to talk to you about something serious. I just left the gym. Is everything okay? I'm okay. So, I got woken up to a phone call from Amex this morning for a fraud alert about some purchases on my card. I had to temporarily lock my card. This is the last thing I want to deal with right now, blank, and I'm very frustrated. Oh God, that's awful. What do you need from me? Can I help at all? I'm sorry, babe. That's so annoying, especially while you're traveling. Yeah, it's very annoying. I'm just going to be direct and ask you why and how you were using my credit card. Wait, me? What do you mean? Blank. Please, just be honest with me. It says that they were purchases for $36 at blank and then another $224 at blank. Both local spots in Austin. So you're saying I did something? Babe, how would I be using your card if it's with you? I don't know. I'm asking you directly. I don't want to accuse you of doing anything if I don't have the full picture, but from where I stand, this is the only thing that makes any sense. So, did you use my card at blank? Why would you automatically think it's me? Because this has already happened months ago. I assumed my card just got skimmed or something, I don't know, but I replaced it, and it didn't happen again. Now I'm out of the country and it happens again. I'm sorry, but you have to understand how it looks to me. Just answer my question, please. Are you using my card? Well, I did a couple times, like back in September. I thought it was okay though. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like what? So you're saying you didn't try to use my card yesterday at blank, only in September? I just didn't think it would be a big deal. I used it before to buy some of the furniture for the house like you said I could. So you copied my card number and betrayed my trust, or what? I don't think you're being honest with me. So you telling me that you didn't use my card yesterday, and before you didn't take cash out from somewhere with my credit card? I didn't copy your card number. When I took it to buy furniture, I added it to my Apple Wallet. That's how she's using it when the card's with you. I may have used it just a few times in between then and now, but you're making it sound like I stole money from you or something. That's literally what you did, love. You're making it very dramatic. Well, that's because it's a big deal to me, blank. You stole sensitive financial information from me. I'm just confused what you were using. I think that says the cash advance for anyways. Why wouldn't you just ask me? I never got any cash out of the card, OP. I don't know what that's about, I swear. And then the OP sends like a screenshot of the balance where it shows that there was cash taken out. I think that's what a cash advance is. Is that a cash advance? This isn't for that much, but I certainly did not do it. Right around the time I left for Mexico. Oh, okay, I see. So the card is on my Apple Pay, so I must have been defaulting it to yours on accident when I use Venmo to like pay my friends and stuff. OP, I'm really sorry. You have to trust me here. This was a mistake. So it was a mistake to spend $200 at blank yesterday too? On my card? I just don't understand why you wouldn't just ask me for money if you needed it. This is low. You know how I am about this kind of stuff, and you exploited one of my worst insecurities. I truly just didn't think much of it, blank. You'd been paying your card off all the same. I just didn't think it would hurt you as much. Wow! Wow, that is a wild excuse for taking someone's money. That doesn't make it okay, blank. Come on. You know I would do anything for you, and if you asked me for the sun, I'd climb Everest to try and get it for you. Stealing from me is not okay. It wasn't ever a ton of money at a time. I ultimately planned to pay you back. Okay, so this is obviously not that it was a mistake then. They knew what they were doing because they've just said, I planned to pay you back, so it wasn't accidentally defaulting on their app. They were doing it on purpose. But I guess I do also understand why you were upset about it. You cash advanced $500 in December, blank. It's not about whether it's a lot to me, but you realise that's simply not okay. You've been doing this for months. When was the repayment going to start? I needed money at the time and I just didn't know how to ask you at the time. I'm sorry. Laughing my butt off. I'm sorry, blank. I can't have too much sympathy for you. You live with me, I pay my mortgage, and I don't ask you for anything. I already pay for everything for you. You know I'd have helped you, and you never have a problem asking me for anything. I love to spoil you. You know that. You're acting like I'm some sort of criminal or something. Please, just take a deep breath. I'm sorry. No, I'm acting like you just broke all trust I had for you. It's been so hard for me in the past few years to open up to people like I have to you, and this is the exact reason why. This is exactly what I've been afraid of. I feel like you're blowing it slightly out of proportion. Oh my god. Don't tell me how to feel about this situation. My bank blocked my card and called me about possible fraud whilst I was in a different country. Do you not understand that this is a major deal to me? Do you get how bad that looks on you and myself as well? I apologise, OP. You're focusing on the wrong thing. And what is the right thing to focus on right now? That I was stressed and I was scared and didn't know what I was going to do. Now you're making me feel like a terrible person for that. You're pissing me the off, blank. Cut the victim shit. You're not a victim. If anyone is, then it's me, but I'm not even playing the cards, so be a woman and help me understand why you'd hide something like this from me, instead of just talking to me. Make it make sense to me. I feel like you don't trust me sometimes, like the way you're interrogating me and talking to me right now. Right now it feels like you're holding your money over my head. What? I'm laughing out loud. When have I ever held money over your head, blank? Never asked you to pay me back or made you feel bad about not paying for anything, ever. I deserve the same honesty and respect I give to you, my girlfriend. I always put you first. How the hell am I holding money over your head? I told you I was sorry. I don't know what else you want from me at this point. I feel like I want you to understand why it's a big deal to me and why I'm so hurt. If you don't get it, then you just don't get it. But I want to be frank with you and let you know I'm reconsidering this whole thing. I have a few more days here and I don't want to be consumed with this while I try to enjoy the rest of my trip with my friends. I've given it too much time this morning already. I don't want to talk to you in between now and when I get back. We will talk in person then and figure this out, but I'm incredibly hurt and questioning a lot of things. I'm sorry, OP. I feel like I'm being punished and it was never supposed to be this big of a deal. I love you immensely and never wanted to hurt you. You're right. I should have talked to you. I hope you can understand that this was a huge mistake on my part and I don't want to lose you over this. I love you more than I can ever put into words. I up. I think at this point, if you're taking money from someone knowingly and then trying to lie about it, no, that's just not okay, is it? And especially seeing as the OP's like, yeah, you've always been able to ask me and I would always give it to you. And it's not like the girlfriend doesn't have, their own job and their own money. They're just obviously crap with their finances. Like, yeah, that's not okay. So down in the comments, Even Budget 2078 says, not overreacting. Wait, me? What do you mean? Damn, girl really tried to brazen it out there for a minute. This is a massive violation of trust. Using your card, lying about it, and then trying to play victim at the end of your exchange. I hate to say this, but I really think you are being taken advantage of here. I would seriously reconsider this relationship if I were you. Also, thank goodness you pay off your balance in full. A cash advance from a credit card. Girlfriend could have seriously screwed you with that. General PSA, never do cash withdrawals on your credit card. Never. And now I've never had a credit card. They're not really as popular here in the UK. We usually just use our debit cards from our bank. People do have them. A lot of people have them, but at the same breath, a lot of people don't. So I have no clue on whether cash withdrawals are a bad thing or not. I don't understand that because I've never had one, so I wouldn't want to say. But either way, whether they're a bad thing as far as credit card terms go or not, it's still a bad thing she did it in the first place when it's not her frigging card. And then Miss Muse99 says, I thought maybe it could be possible she accidentally used his card until I read about the cash advances she was taking out. Those can't happen by accident and the APR is super obnoxious on those. I hope the OP tells her he's expecting interest on the cash advances she's made. If you made it all the way to the end with me, I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Don't forget to leave a offering of a comment for Big Al. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.